है। तो आज ही MPL Pro ऐप डाउनलोड कीजिए और सारा ई स्पोर्ट्स सेक्शन देखिए। MPL ई स्पोर्ट्स के नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट में पार्टिसिपेट करना मतलब अपनी स्किल्स दिखाकर ढेर सारा प्राइज मनी जीतने और चैंपियन बनने का मौका। पर नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट्स होते क्या है? नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट्स में हर प्लेयर को टूर्नामेंट में बने रहने के लिए हर राउंड में जीतना पड़ता है। जैसे कि अगर 16 प्लेयर्स एक टूर्नामेंट में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं तो उन 16 में से 8 अगले राउंड में जाएंगे, फिर 4 और फिर 2 प्लेयर्स ग्रैंड फिनाले खेलेंगे, जिनमें से एक विनर डिक्लेयर किया जाएगा। तो क्या आप तैयार हो अपनी स्किल से नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट में चैंपियन बनने के लिए? तो आज ही MPL Pro ऐप डाउनलोड करके खेलो, जीतो और चैंपियन बनो। What a match! ये ई स्पोर्ट्स होता क्या है? आप भी यही सोच रहे हो ना? ई स्पोर्ट्स मतलब इलेक्ट्रॉनिक स्पोर्ट्स, यानी वो स्पोर्ट्स या गेम जिसे ऑनलाइन खेल सकते हैं घर बैठे। जैसे क्रिकेट, हॉकी और फुटबॉल में वर्ल्ड कप और टूर्नामेंट्स होते हैं, वैसे ही ऑनलाइन गेम जैसे पूल चैंप्स, WCC और स्पीड चेस में भी ऑनलाइन टूर्नामेंट्स होते हैं। इन गेम्स में कोई भी पार्टिसिपेट कर सकता है। बाकी स्पोर्ट्स की तरह ई स्पोर्ट्स में भी हर प्लेयर को स्किल्स, प्रैक्टिस और स्ट्रेटजी की जरूरत होती है। टूर्नामेंट्स जीतने पर प्लेयर्स प्राइज मनी के साथ साथ फेम भी पा सकते हैं। अगर आप भी ऑनलाइन गेम्स में कम्पीट करके कैश प्राइजेस और फेम जीतना चाहते हैं तो MPL Pro ऐप को डाउनलोड करें और रोज नए टूर्नामेंट्स में फ्री में पार्टिसिपेट करिए। तो आज ही खेलिए, जीतिए और चैंपियन बनिए। ये ई स्पोर्ट्स लाइव स्ट्रीम क्या होता है? जैसे क्रिकेट और बाकी स्पोर्ट्स लाइव टेलीकास्ट होते हैं, वैसे ही ई स्पोर्ट्स के टूर्नामेंट्स MPL Pro ऐप पर लाइव ब्रॉडकास्ट किए जाते हैं, जिसमें प्लेयर्स को अपनी स्किल्स हजारों लोगों के सामने दिखाने का मौका मिलता है। व्यूअर्स भी लाइव स्ट्रीम देखकर प्रो प्लेयर्स की स्ट्रेटजी सीख सकते हैं। ई स्पोर्ट्स लाइव स्ट्रीम MPL Pro ऐप के स्ट्रीम सेक्शन पर दिखाई जाती है। तो आज ही MPL Pro ऐप डाउनलोड कीजिए और सारा ई स्पोर्ट्स सेक्शन देखिए। MPL ई स्पोर्ट्स के नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट में पार्टिसिपेट करना मतलब अपनी स्किल्स दिखाकर ढेर सारा प्राइज मनी जीतने और चैंपियन बनने का मौका। पर नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट्स होते क्या है? नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट्स में हर प्लेयर को टूर्नामेंट में बने रहने के लिए हर राउंड में जीतना पड़ता है। जैसे कि अगर 16 प्लेयर्स एक टूर्नामेंट में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं तो उन 16 में से 8 अगले राउंड में जाएंगे, फिर 4 और फिर 2 प्लेयर्स ग्रैंड फिनाले खेलेंगे, जिनमें से एक विनर डिक्लेयर किया जाएगा। तो क्या आप तैयार हो अपनी स्किल से नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट में चैंपियन बनने के लिए? तो आज ही MPL Pro ऐप डाउनलोड करके खेलो, जीतो और चैंपियन बनो।
Hey guys, we are here for the MPL Indian Chess Tour Leg 2 qualifiers. I have GM Srinath with me. This is going to be an epic match because there's a lot at stake. Welcome Srinath, how are you feeling today? Hello, I think Srinath is having some technical issues, but how are you chat? What's going on?
I can't hear Sahil. Can't hear you, Sahil.
Okay, let me check this issue once again. Hello, I think, is there some issue? Okay. Hello. Yeah, so everybody, we are here. We are here for the MPL India Chess Tour Leg 2 qualifiers, and this is an all-important match because two players from this tournament will be selected for the upcoming leg two, and that's an all important match with huge prize funds, and it will be an epic match. Welcome, Srinath. How are you?
Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much, Sahil. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine as well. And it's a great opportunity to be here with you. I mean, you have been helping out the Indian Olympic team, and it's been a great deal. How is preparations going on? And there are many strong players here as well. Maybe someday they also get to play the Olympiads. Who knows?
Absolutely, Sahil. Thank you so much. And of course, anyone can get there. Anyone can get there. And I think that's kind of the whole spirit of having this tournament, the MPL Indian Chess Tour. It's not just for the top players. It's not just for the elite players. We had the same tournament last year as well, where anyone could qualify, get into the big league, and this means any person, any person who wins this tournament has a chance to qualify all the way into the Champions Chess Tour, all the way to the top from the beginning of the chess. So the whole pyramid is covered.
That is insane. Imagine getting a chance to play against Magnus Carlsen thanks to MPL. I mean, that is just insane. Just a quick word of MPL. I mean, it's great what they are doing. They have been sponsoring chess and other games. I mean, it's just insane how much they've supported the game itself. And it's a chance for everyday gamers, not just professionals, to win this event. And that is absolutely insane. And you can definitely check out the pinned link. You check out the other games. There are so many games you can take part in. But for today, we're going to focus on chess. And well, this is a qualifier event for the leg two. What basically happened, MPL, gave a chance to at least 20,000 people to qualify for this. And we have the top players, the creme de la creme of those 20,000 people. Imagine the odds of coming out of 20,000 people and reaching the top eight. And it's going to be absolutely insane. Srinath, I mean, imagine the journey these players have been through. I mean, how hard has it been? What do you think?
I can only imagine, Sahil. I've never played a tournament with 20,000 players in my life before, despite playing chess for more than 20 years. But it's also easy to imagine, yeah, because everywhere there's a qualification phase. Even in the World Championship qualification cycle, it basically starts from the district level tournaments. So everywhere there is a qualification phase, and that's how chess is. A lot of people play chess, so you need to get you need to be the best among such a large number.
Indeed. And just a quick update on how the format will run. Basically, there were 20,000 people who participated. They had to get into a knockout phase. And one by one, these guys have kicked everybody out of else of the tournament with some great chess. And, they're going to play for the finals. Basically top two basically get a chance to qualify for the leg two. And well, the qualifiers ran in the month of May. We had knockouts last week, and today it's time for the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals. And well, I think it's time to introduce the huge prize pool. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. Everybody had a chance to win this. And yeah, Srinath, I mean, like, imagine playing for a prize fund of $100,000 in the MPL India Chess Tour and qualifying for it. And for now, they have a chance. First prize, a golden ticket to take part in the leg two of the MPL India Chess Tour. That will happen in the first week of June. And well, a chessboard signed by Hajiya Manish Giri. You go, okay, even I want that. What do you think, Shri?
Yes, Sahil, exactly what I was saying earlier. Not only the prize fund of $100,000, but a part to take part in the MPL Indian Chess Tour, which serves as a qualification event for the Champions Chess Tour itself. So again, you can get into the Champion Chess Tour. You can even win the Champion Chess Tour by participating in this event if
Indeed,
you're good enough. If you're good enough, it,
indeed,
it,
indeed,
it all sounds so unlikely now, Sahil, but some it's possible. It's possible, and we have seen
indeed.
these kind of stories happen in all walks of life.
Indeed. And the second prize is also a ticket to this leg two of the MPL India Chess Tour. Top two qualify, and well, a Chess 24 hoodie. Well, you would really look cool in that. And of course, a 1 month membership of Chess 24 as well. And the third position is basically your Chess 24 shirt and a free month of Chess 24 membership. So these were the prizes of this tournament, and I think the top two spots are the most important ones clearly. So players will be very focused. They have a lot at stake, and when the stakes are high, the people who thrive under pressure, come up on top. I feel, Srinath.
Absolutely. It really brings in your reserves, Sahil. Yes, the top two is important, but only the one person gets a signed board by Anish Giri. So if you want
Ah.
Anish's autograph, you better finish first.
Indeed, that is very important to me as well. Yeah, somehow even I was first now, but yeah, really, that's a great idea as well. So I think it's
I
it's
know.
about yeah. So it's I think it's time to introduce the quarterfinal fixtures. Let's look at the heroes of today, the players who will be fighting for these spots, and we have four matchups lined up. Marcel 1-2-3 against Rocky, Satyajit Barrick versus Sandeep, and imagine the pressure these guys must be feeling, Srinath. What do you feel?
I can
This is good.
I can more than imagine. It's pretty common in high level sport all the time. You are in these knockouts, you are under this pressure, and one move of yours can entirely change everything. You're playing for a lot of prize money at stake. You are playing for all this qualification. You make the right moves, you get through. You make one wrong move, and you have nightmares. You have recurring nightmares all through for the next few nights. Thinking, "Oh my God, why did I do this? Why didn't I do that instead?" And all these thoughts. And I think this is one of the most difficult aspects of playing any kind of sport, Sahil.
Indeed, indeed. And how hard the journey has been, to reach here from 20,000 players. I think this is going to be the final moment they will remember, I think, for maybe the rest of their lives. Who knows if they especially manage to win. So, yeah, I think it's, time to go with the first match. And who are you betting on, Srinath? I think Rocky versus Muscle 1-2-3. Who do you think, has a better chance if you had to guess?
Well, going just by the names, I would always put my money on Rocky because I watched the Rocky movies and Rocky wins most of the time. So the name just sounds a lot more catchier to me. So I just go with Rocky. What about you, Sahil?
Yeah, even I would go with Rocky, but sometimes the underdog also wins. So maybe Vasi 1-2-3 has a good chance. Rocky might get a bit overconfident, so that is also possible. But I think it's time to look at the game and see for ourselves, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and of
Looking
course the
forward
time
to it.
control is yeah, time control is 4+2, so they will have enough increment to basically not lose on time in a winning position, and that is of course very important. Sometimes we see, for example, there are many tournaments where there's no increment. It can get very very tough to somehow, in the last few seconds. So yeah, even if they get those nerves in the last seconds, they have that increment in the bank that will really help their mental peace during the game.
It makes a lot of difference. I mean, imagine you have a queen or a rook and you have to checkmate your opponent and you're about to run out of time. In these kind of situations, I think increment makes all the difference. It happened to me even yesterday, I was playing this tournament and I had a rook and a bishop, but I had only 3 seconds and I ended up stalemating my opponent because I was scared of running out of time. I got tense. But if I had that increment, then it would just be game over. So it's a big game changer that helps you, I think, close out and win the games in the main in on the board itself. Not bringing that
Yeah,
element of time into the uh,
yeah.
picture.
As a professional, blundering away stalemate, I would say I totally relate with you. And we have the game that has just begun, E4 Scandinavian by Masi 1-2-3, 1-2-3-8. Interesting opening choice there.
Yeah, the Scandinavian and E into D5. Scandinavian is also the opening that was played by the Beast Adiban against Magnus Carlsen in Maikanze. And Adiban got a really good cushion, but Black's idea of sacrificing the pawn, he just sacrifices the pawn for quick development, E into D5 and E6. Now, that's not something you see a lot in the high
Hmm.
level tournament.
Hmm. Hmm. And now, I think white, oh, he plays queen to e2. Very interesting choice. And, that basically pins the e pawn, so he cannot take on d5. And if bishop b5, then queen takes b5. Both sides developing the queen. Very interesting.
Yeah,
You
both
don't see
sides
this too
bringing out
often.
their queen, but I like White's position off the bat. I think
Hmm.
Rocky has a bit of an advantage here. Knight, he's a bit better developed. He has more material, and Black is not able to get his pieces out, especially this move Queen E7, which was played by Black. It just obstructs his own pieces from developing.
Yeah, he takes on d5. I think the d5 pawn will fall as well very soon, and white should be a pawn up, and that should be a great great plus for him.
Yeah, knight into d5. Expected. Yeah, he takes knight into d5. He goes for it. And if the black queen takes white's queen, then white can develop with the tempo with knight into e2.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
at the end of it, white is just a pawn up, and his development is all sorted out as well.
Yeah, and black
So good
castles
start for
queenside,
white.
so he prevents the fork, but somehow um it doesn't feel like black has that crazy development lead, right? Especially without the queens on board. Yeah, now I just take on e7, I can just castle and just a clear pawn up, right? Even after knight e3, just a clear pawn up.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone in the chat is asking if Rocky is that I am guy. We're not talking about him, right?
Yeah,
It's not
most likely
that
not, most
Rocky.
likely not, most likely not, most likely not. Yeah. And okay, so yeah, so white has defended the pawn very well. And yeah, I don't see just any compensation here. I mean, rook h e8, yeah, you have these awkward knights on e2, e3, but still, it doesn't feel like. I mean, if I was uh, black, I would be really worried here.
I'd be worried with black too, but also we should know that a one pawn advantage, usually it's possible to salvage it. Usually it's possible to
Hmm. Hmm.
make a draw or save the game. And also white has some problems to solve still. Yeah, he has
Hmm.
to develop, get his knights coordinated. Right now they're a bit awkward and a bit tangled. He goes to knight f5, and knight into d6. He solves one of the problems. He trades the
Hmm.
knight for the bishop, and now the e2 knight is attacked after knight into d6. It's a discovered attack,
Hmm.
but white just defends it with rook e1. And after knight e4, I think he has to play bishop c1, and everything is defended. Everything is defended. After b3, white will be able to solve all his problems, drive away the black knight, and all his pieces are in play. So it looks like white is doing really well
Yeah.
here. White.
And you know what I like about white here is it's like every time his piece was attacked, he started developing his pieces to defend them. It wasn't, for example, knight on e2 was hanging, he played rook e1, bishop d2 was hanging, he played rook a d1. So he's focusing on development. That's a very good deal.
Yeah, he's focused on development. He hasn't made a wrong move yet from a strategical perspective. He has had the upper hand on time so far, which is also an important factor in these games. And there comes his move b3. This white knight is coming on to e6 next, potentially. He puts a pawn on d5, takes control of the e6 square. He might play c4 next to defend the d5 pawn. And for black, it's not so easy to mount resistance anymore. His knights have been driven away. They are not so well coordinated. And this knight on d6 has no good squares to go. So, for example, white comes e4 next. The bishop goes to b2. That f6 pawn is undefended, unprotected. He brings the king into the game with king f1. White
And
doing all the right things, and black is totally on the back foot. So, it looks like the favorite is going to go through this one.
yeah, bishop e2, very solid move. And once white plays c4, it is going to be very difficult, I feel, because white has a perfect pawn chain, and the pawn on d5, really stifles any sort of counterplay black might have. The f6 pawn is going to hang soon. If f6 falls, I think that will be the end of the game pretty much. And yeah, black has this knight on f5, which looks active, but where is the knight going actually? It's not clear. I'm not really sure about that one.
Yeah, the black knight comes back to d6. He went to knight b5. He goes back to d6, and now Rocky has a 1 minute lead on time. Pretty much, he has a 1 minute lead, and he has all his pieces out. The pawns are advancing after c5. The knights have no square to go to. It can only go to b5, after which it can be further harassed with something like a4. And once that knight goes to a7, there's just no future for the knight at all,
Yeah,
Sahil.
yeah,
And
yeah.
meanwhile, it's like white is playing with one extra piece, and he brings the rooks into the game now with rook e2.
Yeah, and I mean, night on the rim is dim. This is the picture I think the old GMs imagined when they wrote that quote. I think the knight on a7 on the rim with no future, no square to go to. Actually, it cannot go anywhere. Now it will come to c6, but now d7 is coming up, and that should be the end of the game most likely.
Yeah, black can I think still mount some resistance with some c into d6, c into d6, knight e c6, but it looks like even then d7 should come crashing through because there's a knight
Yeah.
c5 check, bishop at f6,
Hmm.
and now this is concretely winning, tactically winning for white. So
Hmm.
you can see it. You can see that the win is happening, and
He goes for it, and he goes for it so fast. I think your guess was correct. I think if your name is Rocky, you're a born star. I think already it's confirmed. Do name your kids Rocky. I think this is evidence for it.
yeah, seems so. Well, if not your kids, at least you can name your screen name as Rocky. Knight c5 check. The king has to go to d8. Any other
And
place,
then
the
Bishop
rook on
F6.
e8 would be undefended.
Yeah,
Yeah, and after
yeah,
king d8, bishop at f6 coming.
yeah. That loses. Oh, he even takes on B7. He's not even giving away the pawn now. Crazy. Okay, he
Yeah,
takes on
rook into
E8.
e8,
King takes B7.
bishop into
Hmm.
f6, or yeah, bishop into f6 also. And now you just take the headson pawn with rook h8. You create a passed pawn, and black has pretty much nothing to do here.
And usually with the bishop against the knight in itself, I mean, it's a huge edge for the side with the bishop because it can not only stop the opponent's pawns and it can also support your fronts on the same diagonal. But in this case, of course, yeah, he's even exchanging pieces. I mean, the knight on a7, yeah, I mean, it might even be traded off at some point. He gives a check. I mean, is there any mating net coming up soon?
Depends. If you're going to g5, it's I think I do see a checkmate coming up. f4 check,
Yeah.
and okay, he goes for h4 check. King into h4. But it should be a checkmate sooner or later,
Hmm.
Sahil. F3 check, and the king is totally cut off. It's on g4.
Hmm.
This knight on c6 cannot move because the a7 knight would fall in that case, and the knight on a7 cannot move because the c6 knight would fall. So they are so interdependent on each other, but
yeah,
neither of
yeah,
them are. It's a bad type of interdependence. It's a very toxic relationship between the knights. And
yeah.
after king into h4, rook g6, the king will be totally cut off.
Yeah, partners for life, but somehow not able to survive in the real world. And now Rook F4 is coming up, and there is no defense. Absolutely no defense.
It's a powerful game by Rocky. A powerful game,
Indeed, indeed,
a very accurate game.
indeed.
And after rook f4, it's what?
Okay, interesting
Now he's
choice.
just playing around.
Maybe
Now
he's
he's just
trolling.
playing
I mean,
around.
it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. okay, okay. Maybe he
He
wants to
wants to
break with the
checkmate with
pawn.
the pawn.
I mean, he's creative as well. I like it. I really like it. I have to say, I mean, opponent surrendered. He has raised the white flag, and with this, Rocky underscore Bhai 0002 has gone to the next round to the semis. That is absolutely insane. And he's justified his name calling. So I have to say, yeah, great job, Rocky.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well done, Rocky.
Yep, yep. And with that, I think we have finished the first game. We will have the second match starting up soon. And chat, if you're there, you can definitely check out the pinned message for the coupon code. You have a cashback offer available right now for everybody in the chat. Do check that out. And we will, yeah, you can see the code right on the screen as well. And you can, of course, MPL is a great platform because you can play many, 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 many games there, including your favorite game, chess. And these guys also played on the MPL platform and are playing right now here as you see some crazy games. So do be one of them. And we will have game 2 starting up very soon, I think. And will you be basing your prediction on the name again, Shri? Whatever names they have, I think it's working for you.
Yeah, I think that makes it's working for me, and I'm gonna stick with my winning guns. I'm not going to change it unless I have a reason to. What about you,
True,
Sahil?
true, true. Yeah, I think I'll have to copy your strategy. I think it said if you want to become a great player, for example, follow the greats. I think that's what I'm going to do because it did not work for me in the last round. But let's see. Maybe I'll have a different strategy based on the names. Let's confirm this once and let's see.
Yeah, I'll let you
Yeah,
go
and
first this time. I'll let you pick
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
favorite.
Yeah. So we'll have the names on the screen very soon, and then whosoever wins will probably meet Rocky. Oh my God, that is not going to be easy to beat Rocky. I mean, this guy was so creative. I mean, he could have mated with Rook F4, but he chose to mate with the pawn. He wanted all his army to take part in this checkmating battle, and I think he is one tough fight. Anyways, so we have the second round. It is Sandeep versus Satyajit. Who do you think, Shri, is going to win this game?
I'll once again go with the guy on the left this time because that's what worked for me. So I'll go with Sandemik. What about you, Sahil?
So I'll go with Satyajit. I think, I mean, Satyajit, the name says, it means, the truth. I think I think he'll show his true play today and he will be able to crush his opponent. Let's see though. I mean, anything is possible. Let's see. And
But
winner of this match will join, I think, Rocky. So whosoever it is will be a tough fight, I think, in the semis as well.
yeah, but honesty is not always a virtue. It's not always a virtue. So let's see. Let's see if it
So you're
serves,
telling me
if Satyajit helps or.
So you're telling me what I learned in school was wrong? Oh my God, I've been lied to for my entire life.
I know, right? I
And we
know.
have the game.
Yeah, the game's begun and it's Satyajit 0091, right? Or is it 009?
Yeah, it's 0091. Yes.
It's it's the ISD code of India.
And we have a very interesting opening. So knight f3. I have, like, when you start playing chess, rarely do you play knight f3. But I've seen it more at as you grow in strength, you start playing knight f3. I think somehow. And White is opted a very interesting setup though. He played c3. I think maybe he's copying Carlsen nowadays. I mean, Carlsen with his c3, d3s, g3s, f3s has somehow refined opening theory in the recent days, and people are kind of following him somehow.
Well, that's not at all surprising. I mean, who doesn't follow the world champion? And the thing about starting with these openings, it gives you a lot of flexibility. For example, Magnus started with d3 against Vidit, and Vidit replied with c5, and then Magnus went e4 on the second move to convert it into a close Sicilian. But if Magnus had started with one e4, I don't think Vidit would have gone c5. He would have probably likely gone e5. So it gives
Hmm.
you that flexibility. It allows you to take your opponent into a different position, a different setup, and I think that's the most amazing thing about starting with these moves like d3 or c3. But again, that's probably not to be tried at home or school too liberally because you need to know the positions after one e4 and one d4 well before you can transpose it into a favorable way. So you have to know at least one of these things before you try out these other things. I think these are more advanced strategies, starting with these pawn moves on the first, a single pawn move, one step ahead. It's usually nicer to start with two steps forward.
Yeah, I recently went to a haunted place to play some chess, and I played one e4, and the ghost did not reply back. So yeah, playing one move, maybe to e3 would have been a better choice than playing e4. I think maybe I could have gotten a reply then. And by the way, if you look at the position, it's very symmetrical, but White just gave the bishop pair, and yeah, so I think probably Black is fine now already.
Oh, black was fine, but
Wow.
just as you said it, Sahil, just as the commentator jinxed it, the d5 pawn
Oh my God.
falls, knight into d5. But it's also a bit understandable, I guess. You want to liberate that c8 bishop, you want to bring it out. So knight into d5, queen d6, it's understandable. But on the other hand, it also allows white a lot of options. This knight is coming into b6 and knight into e5. White just mercilessly takes it. Knight into e5, knight into e5. This knight is also coming to c7 after the opening of the c file. The knight on c6, which was protecting it, is off the board. There are people who are asking for the evaluation bar, but guys, you have the evaluation bar right here. White is winning this position.
Indeed. And knight c7, both rooks hanging, and I think that is pretty obvious. And yeah, I mean, great play by White. I think Black was doing fine, but somehow, for some reason, I think he I mean, he felt stifled. Maybe the bishop on c8 had no future. It had long-term future, but I think he panicked a little bit. I know that they have enough time on the clock, so I don't see how Black can really come back in this game. Looks difficult.
Yeah, and bishop going to h5 is not at all helpful because I think that bishop will also be captured with g4. So the bishop is hanging, the knight is hanging, the rooks are hanging. Only the black queen and the black dark square bishop are protected and safe for the moment. Everything else is hanging, everything else is vulnerable, and black's position is literally bleeding. Only
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
he has more is the time, but I think White has more than enough time to make advantage of this position.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Also, it's
yeah, yeah.
been really strong play by White so far.
I think only a miracle can save Black here somehow. He has discovered check. Maybe White misses that and tries to play knight c7. Let's see what happens. Um, Although, I mean, if you look at White's play, I mean, he had all those intermediate moves, right? I mean, after knight takes e5, he played knight c7. Like, it was great play. I mean, maybe maybe I overestimated Rocky's chances here.
Yeah, Sahil. This has been impeccable play by White so far. Uh, and now King to h1. Although I must admit, it was a pretty good game by Rocky too.
Hmm. True, true. And now King h1, White playing it
It looked
very.
flawless.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And now the knight on
One,
8 looks.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we have some sort of update. We'll let you know, chat. I think for now the king is on h1. Queen e7 played by Black.
I'm sorry, Sahil. I got cut out for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, I think we might have some updates soon. Although White has played rook c8, King should probably go to h7. Yeah, so yeah, there is an update. I think there has been some fair play violation from White here. I think, and with this, I think Black is going to win the game. And Sandeep goes to the next round. You cannot get away with any fair play violations, chat. That is evidence.
Sooner or later, it catches up on you.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
both Magnus and Stockfish is from Norway. Some people take inspiration from Magnus, some from Stockfish. There's only one path which is right here, though.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. And I was just saying maybe a miracle can save Black. Yeah, that is the miracle he wanted. And Sandeep goes to the next round. So, Shri, I think, yeah, your predictions are 2-on-2. Insane.
I'm just, I don't know what to say, Sahil. I guess I just have a great eye for talent, but okay, it just.
Indeed. And usually you would have some sort of retort to that, but it's absolutely true. And that's just insane. And with this, I think 2 games have finished. We have 2 semi-finals already. We will have the third game starting up very soon. And yeah, so I think this is a warning for all players. If you try to abuse the trust we have in the system, I think it will not work out for you anyway. So yeah, at least we have the semis. I think we will have the third quarterfinal very soon. 2 players battling it out to reach the semis, reach one step closer to that beautiful prize of playing in the this crazy tournament happening with the top talent in the country. And yeah, lot at stake.
Yeah, Sahil. The Indian Chess Tour, getting into the Indian Chess Tour, and getting into the top two there. Yeah, there we have the quarterfinal 3. Tejas 26 Trisha versus Delt pair 11-7-1-1-8. And this time you go first. You come up with your prediction.
Yeah, so just because Del Pair has so many numbers in his name, I think he might be good at calculation. Chess is a game of skill, and calculation is I guess the most important skill. You cannot play chess without calculation, and I would go with Del Pair for just that reason. What do you think, Srinath?
Interesting. So once again, you go with the person on the right corner, and I go with the left one, Tejas 26 Trisha. Let's see how this one turns out.
I mean, you
In
caught me.
chess, having. I'm sorry, Sai.
No, I'm just saying you caught me there. I mean, I was just going with the right side and trying to justify it in some way. The odds have to, the universe has to balance out the odds, right? So the right guy has to win at some point. Yes, Srinath, you were
Yeah,
saying
but
something.
in chess, having your number start with two is a bit of an advantage, because if your rating starts with two, then you're already pretty high rated, and if your rating starts with 2-6, then you belong with most of the people already in the Indian chess tour. So uh, I'm just more attracted
Also
towards
true.
that number. And
Okay, so
what an
yeah, yeah, yeah,
interesting uh,
yeah.
the person named Satyajit was, it turned out that he was caught for a fair play violation. I mean,
True,
what a
true.
paradox that was.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
And by the way, did you see the first
which
move?
also kind of sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, so did you see the first move? Sorry to interrupt you there, but E3 and A3. Oh my God, what a opening. I mean, I have never seen this. Wow.
I'm already rethinking my choice now. E3,
Yeah, I
A3, and
think,
H3. This is absolutely
yeah.
not the way to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, playing on the flanks, not in the center. Knight to E7. Wow. Crazy. This game is very interesting. And
Yeah,
yeah, bishop
again,
goes on to E4.
just by
Hmm.
the initial moves. So far, the pattern I've observed is one player seems to be, really knowing what they're doing, and the other player
Hmm.
kind of seems to go hither thither. And here, Black has developed his pieces. There's actually a model of what happens when you don't develop properly. The white bishop has moved 3 times. He's only moving the pawns,
Hmm.
and he or she. Black, on the other hand, good center, the pieces have been out, they have been developed, and I think this is actually a pretty good model example of how to play in openings by Black and how not to play in openings by White,
Wow. King
until
to
this point.
D7. Until this point, so king to D7, blocking the bishop. I think just maybe that is true, that Black realizes that white is not so, he's not in his element. Maybe he wants to move the bishop and play rook E8 and trap the queen on E2 with a pin. Maybe that's the idea.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty strong idea, moving the king away. And now there's something bishop into a3 incoming, or just bishop d6. Actually, king
D6.
d7 is a super, super, super strong move. And the pace at which Black played, wow.
Yeah, yeah, and dealt pair justifying his username, and now rook to e8 is coming up, and white misses the threat. He misses the threat. Rook to e8 has been played, and the queen has been lost, and that should be great edge for black here, I think.
Yeah, again, if we had the evaluation bar, it would be going all the way up for Black here. Rook to e8, there's no way to defend for White. If bishop e3, then you have the option, yeah. But maybe we should give this option to the chat. What if White plays the bishop to e3 here? How would you respond? Which way would you
Indeed.
respond? There's no one correct answer here, but you can choose from your buffet of options. Okay, he goes queen into e8. He doesn't. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want Black
Yeah,
to
I mean,
gloat with all
I
those
mean,
attractive
I think
options.
white feels, that demoralized enough. He doesn't want chat to do it once more, so he solves the problem himself. And now I think the problem is not only that white lost his queen, but is because of his moves h3 and these moves on the flank of the board. Now queen h4 and all these ideas are coming up, and the king is absolutely bare open in the center of the board with no pieces developed.
Yeah, no pieces developed, all the pieces falling. But look at White, he's steadfastly playing with only this bishop. He's like, okay, I'm gonna put all in on this bishop. Not a great idea. You do have other pieces as well. This is, I don't
Yeah,
know, like I can't find a real life analogy, but um, it's it's
yeah, I
it's
can
good. It's
find
good
one.
to have.
I can find it, but we have to enter the crypto space. Then I think it's better to diversify your portfolio and your chess attacking pieces, and that's why King F2 played now. And now it feels like I mean, White's pieces, the only piece developed are the bishop on F7, which can be loose to some checks, and the bishop can be lost. And White's queen side is completely on the back rank still. White's king side, knight and rook are on the back rank. The knight c3 missing the point, and I think now we'll see some mating pattern very soon.
Bishop a6. I
Yeah.
have to say that Black's moves have caught me a bit by surprised, but I can understand that he wants to get this bishop onto d3 with a check. White
Hmm.
prevents it with bishop to c4, but now maybe black will bring his rook. Bishop to c4, d into c4, and knight to c7. Rook f8 check and
Hmm.
queen g3. Because what I observed is black is just going for checkmate. He just wants to finish it off. And then knight on g2, which had been hanging for so many moves, finally gets free. Finally gets some life. So if that knight was a living piece, it would be so happy.
Yeah, and now knight to f3, queen g3, queen f5 also works, pinning the knight. And surprisingly enough, there is no way to defend the knight now. It's just lost. And I mean, yeah, white is just not having enough pieces to launch any sort of counterplay. And the black king on d7 is perfectly safe. I mean, black is a genius here.
Absolutely, and I guess White is struggling to make a move here because he's lost his light square bishop, and that was the only piece he was playing with. It kind of reminds me of how a child eats. Like there's all this food on the plate, and the child just wants to eat potato, or ignore all the vegetables and eat one particular thing. And that light square bishop was that particular thing. With that out of the game, White has no moves at all. And I guess that's like the longest thing that we have had all day today.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the statement, but I think it's not applicable to just children. I think even adults like me do that a lot of times. By the way, I think 92 played, and now queen takes f3. That should end very very soon. A5. Wow. So black again trying to include his entire army into the game. I really appreciate that effort. Not trying to let anybody feel left out. That's great play.
Oh my god, these guys are mocking each other so much. I can't help but imagine who is going to do that to whom in the semis and the final.
Yeah, yeah.
They will be playing against each other, and I guess that will be a bit of a better fight.
Hmm,
Um, so far, I think the contests have been a bit clear right from the start. One side has had the advantage, and they kept it on, and they have kept it through
hmm,
for the whole game. This one, on the other
hmm,
hand, the semifinals, on the other hand, I think will be a bit more balanced, a bit more evenly contested.
hmm, hmm. And now the
And now
bishop
the
on
F1
g5 is falling. Yeah, f1 rook as well, knight on e2 as well. Everything is falling. Yeah, he takes the bishop. I mean, yeah, he listens to me. I can connect with dealt pair 117, 118 very well. I mean, I think there's some connection there. So I'm banking on him to go all the way. Let's see.
wow. Now Queen into F1 check. I got a bit speechless there for a moment. I was like, oh my god, is this what happens after all the sub battles and everything?
Yeah, and he does not take the rook on a1. Very interesting. And king to b3.
Rook
Very
B8
interesting
check.
choice there. Yeah, yeah. He goes for 94 though. Interesting.
Yeah, Rook B8 check
And,
incoming sooner
hmm,
or later though, I think. Rook
and
B8,
also,
Queen to
black is only 2 minutes ahead of the clock, Sheena. That's crazy, right?
I think that's
Yes.
also understandable. White lost all his time crying about the light square bishop, and uh, so it's bound to be there. It's bound to be the time difference, and black is just playing with it. Although white does have a 2-second increment, so black can't just flag white, but it can. It's still possible if white forgets about the time, and even with increment, even at the highest level, for example, yesterday Wei lost on time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. And now it's mate in one, queen b2. Will he find it or will he just take the knight on g1? Who knows? It is. Oh, he goes for the mate. Yes, finally. So we have one more
Finally,
winner. One more. And that is dealt pair 117, 118 going to the semis, one step closer again to a dream spot in this tournament. It'll come up from 2nd June. It'll be crazy. And to be honest, I'm very curious to see who will be the opponent of dealt pair 117, because we see Rakesh there. We saw, all these tough fights. So I'm wondering who should I bet on to win this event. I'm very curious. So far, I think one player has kind of taken the game away, right? In all the games so far.
yes, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do when their opponent start resisting. So far, they have had easier competition. But having said that, I think the game of Rocky, there was a bit of resistance from Black. It's just that Rocky just overpowered the resistance. The second game, Sandemic, was actually struggling quite a bit. So um, maybe he starts as the lesser of the favorite. Maybe he doesn't start as a favorite in his matchup in the semifinals. But let's have a look at the fourth quarterfinal.
Indeed. And this is the final quarterfinal. So these two players will be, very, tuned in. They know they need to win this game to reach the semis, a dream spot in the leg two of the MPL India Chess Tour. And I mean, like when you have to wait for the other games, like you're the last person in this, quarterfinal list. I think it adds pressure to you somehow, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It
Yeah.
the more time you have, the more time you have to get anxious. I think everyone can relate to it. It's not
Yeah.
just in sports; it's also in exam.
Yeah.
It's also in
Yeah.
competitive events and all the other things. So I think all of us can relate to it.
And chat, you can also get to play tournaments like these and many other sports, many other games on the MPL app. Do download it, and you have a chance to win 25 rupees instant cashback in your MPL wallet. Do it right now. I can assure you it's a great platform. All these players, 20,000 players participated, and imagine the kind of crazy tournaments you can take part in. Do download right now, and you have a great chance to get some cashback as well. And with this, we are going to move into the final quarterfinals. I think all is up for grabs. Then we'll have the semis. It's going to be a lot of fun. I have GM Srinath here with me. And moving into the final quarterfinal, Srinath. So it's going to be Khatar Saab versus Queen 894. Who is your favorite, Srinath? I'm going to ask you first. It makes my choice a bit easier for some reason. Who are you going as your bet to win this quarterfinal?
Well, I lost the prediction game the last time, so I'm gonna go with the Queen 894 this time. I'm gonna take the right away from you, since you give me the option.
Yeah, so okay, I'll go with Khatkar Saab. I think I feel somehow, his name inspires me to be confident. So I think I am going to go with that. And let's see if I can equalize in the prediction game here. And the game should start any moment, chat. And this is the final quarterfinals, and it's all up for grabs for us for two spots, in fact, in the MPL India Chess Tour leg 2 that starts from first week of June. Let's see the game very soon. Srinath, let's go.
Let's go. By the way, does the Katkar Saab mean anything?
I'm not sure.
Or
I'm
is it
not
just a
sure.
random name?
I'm not sure about this, so maybe I should not say. But it does feel like somehow if you have a K in your name, it feels like you're confident. Maybe I'm wrong. You have seen too many Ekta Kapoor serials, but yeah, if the K in your name, something that starts with K, it's usually bound to succeed. I feel Kasparov, for example,
Interesting.
Karpov, for
I,
example.
uh, I think you're bound to succeed if you see a K after a number. But we have different philosophies there.
By the way, E4 finally some normal opening choice here, and E5 by Black. Interesting.
What a beautiful what a beautiful profile picture there of Queen 894 though. It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's straight out of GeoGuessr.
Makes you feel like going on a drive, by the way. But D6 by Black, going for the Philidor, and White takes the center with D4.
Yeah, White takes the center with D4, knight into D4, knight F6. I expect. Yeah, the knight goes to F6 and knight C3. And now there are two options. Yeah, you can develop the bishop on G6 or bishop G7. He goes for the bishop E7. He goes for bishop E7. And after bishop F4, short castle. Black is the first one to develop, but on the other hand, white can book into a long castle, and it will be castling on the opposite sides. And generally, white is faster in these situations because white has more space. So white gets this F3, G4, H4, H5, these kind of things faster. And wow, I remember learning all these things with a chessboard and a book all the way back in 2000. How to play against these setups. And back then, learning was so much more slower. You had to get a chessboard. You had to get a book. You had to have someone show you these things because there was no internet, and how things have been revolutionized.
Indeed, indeed, and that's why you see these youngsters, becoming grandmasters, super grandmasters so early in their age, and playing the Olympiad for India. I mean, at the age of when 15, I mean, they are going to school and represent the country in Olympiads. It's insane. And we have a few questions in the chat. So somebody's asking how to play in this. Well, you can download the MPL app and you get some great chances. There's also cashback going on right now. Do download the app, and well, that's the platform to go on. And somebody's asking how is Magnus doing. Well, I'm not sure he's doing so well when he looks at what competitors he's going to face maybe someday in the tournaments coming up when somebody wins from here and goes to the MPL Chess Tour and maybe even wins from there. So maybe he's not doing so well today. Yeah, that is possible.
Bishop g5 played by white there, and I guess bishop into f6, knight into e4. But it's been a bit of an unusual continuation out of the opening because I was expecting an attack on the king side, but here we have the play on the center. Instead, black went for play in the center, and it looks like black is doing fine. It looks like white has allowed black a lot of leeway here, and with something like queen e7 right now, yes, black has some problems to solve. The g file has been opened up, so that's a good thing for black, but for white. But on the other hand, I think black is a few moves away from consolidating.
Yeah, but I think he could have also taken on f6, right? That also feels very tempting. Maybe he wanted to avoid the queen trade, and now queen 894 is probably threatening to take on f6, but black attacks the queen. Queen has to move
But
again.
once again, I think a very important principle to note: the person who plays with more pieces in play is better usually. And black has his pieces c8, b8, a8, all of them undeveloped, and this will be a major handicap. You have to use your pieces. You use it or you lose it. It's the same principle all across.
White also slightly ahead on the clock and has some dominating pieces. Black is trying to develop, and bishop e7 catching the rook on f8. Interesting choice of move there because the rook is now technically lost. But then black plays bishop g5. Wow.
Yeah, black plays bishop g5, bishop into f8, knight into f8. But I still don't. I still think black's position is not. What? Goes for bishop into g5.
Yeah, why not take the rook? I mean, that was the point of bishop e7 at least.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised, and I can see patterns of the stronger players. I can feel that I can start to identify who's doing strong and who's doing not so strong here. Knight f5, knight e7 check, and h4. Does white want to open what?
Oh,
Okay.
I think
White want to.
I think he almost clicked on resign. Don't do that. Yeah, be very careful where you click on. And bishop c4 played attacking f7. So white's piece is looking really great, but then also black has all these pieces on the king side somehow. It's not so easy.
Yeah, and he seals the h file shut with bishop h3. Rook e1, knight g6 check is a threat. I guess the queen can go to b8, and after that, more or less all problems of black is solved. But don't go after pawns like this, chat. Don't do this. Bishop g2, ignoring the white rook on e1. Knight g6 check is a potential threat here. And apart from that, white can also just try and take the g5 pawn, for example. This feels so dangerous. I think he really had to play queen b8, get the queen into the game, get the rooks into the game. You have to play with all your pieces. You have to use it. You have to use what you have. I think that's very important.
Yep. And queen to c5, allowing the rook on d1 to also influence some, come to d7 on a good day. For now, it doesn't look possible. Black just takes the pawn ruthlessly on f3. And yeah, I mean, this game is, I think, the one which is going back and forth. It's not clear yet who is going to win. Yeah, the first time I think so far, it's not entirely clear who will end up winning.
Yeah, I think for the first time there's a bit of intrigue in the game here. And knight g6 check incoming. Yeah, knight g6 check, rook into e8 up next, and Black does have a lot of compensation, though. What do you think, Sahil? It's
Hmm.
not so clear, yeah, even
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
queen off the board.
yeah. With the three G
And
pawns, I mean, triple G pawns. I mean, we've been told double pawns are bad, but triple pawns. But somehow they also allow some counterplay. Yeah, the G pawns could run very quickly, and white, carefully avoids any back rank issues with A4. Yeah, very careful move A4.
yeah, absolutely. A4 is an important move. And yeah, G4 played. The king goes to H7 potentially. Black has to keep his pawns on the king side protected and try to capture the H2 pawn. H2 pawn is very important. But white can just defend it with the rook to d2 if it comes to that. Meanwhile, you have to be careful to take queen into b7. Queen into b7 wouldn't work. I don't know if chat has enough time to find out what happens if white takes queen into b7, but go for it, chat. If you can find it in 5 seconds, if you can find it before white plays his or her move, then go for it. Bishop to d3 on the other hand. Yeah, white
King
shouldn't
goes to.
take the pawn on b7.
Hmm,
It's still valid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And now king goes to
It's still
rook to
valid,
e4. Very, yeah. Wow.
and finally the b pawn moves. B pawn moves, but this is a very clever way to do it, yeah, because there is going to be some rook a8 related threats on the a file,
Hmm.
and it's actually black who's attacking white's king now. The tables have
Yeah,
turned completely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And the white king, was so safe, and suddenly it only has one square on b3 available. And queen to c5, avoiding that, trap
But
of rook to
that's
a8.
all you need in life, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sometimes actually you just need one. You just need one safe
yeah,
square, and
yeah.
you don't get checkmated. Now, queen g5 check is a deadly threat.
Hmm. Oh, he prevents it for now, but white can just take on e4. At least blocks the bishop, so that kind of saves the g6 square for now. So queen g5 is not going to be mate or anything.
Meanwhile, Akshat in the chat finds the correct move. He goes for c5, but that's from a very long time ago, a very long time. But still, someone found it in the limited time available. You should play in the MPL qualification tournament, Akshat.
Yeah, 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 indeed, indeed. And knight goes to f4. And to be honest, if I could somehow take up that h2 pawn, no, like if I could capture that pawn, then black's g pawn could run like fire, and it would totally queen easily. Without Because white's pieces are totally on the queen side, it will not be easy for him to transfer them to the king side somehow. And oh, the rook is also lost. Yeah, we need the
Oh, there's
h2
a
pawn
checkmate
without.
happening. There's a checkmate happening. There's mate in one. There's mate in one. Chat, have you
Ah,
seen it
yeah, queen h,
already?
queen h4, queen
White to
h4,
play
queen
and
h, queen
mate in
h4.
one.
Oh, white misses it. White
Oh.
misses it. White misses it. And the king goes to h5 immediately.
Until this point, people are missing mate in one on
And
purpose.
chat, I think there's an update. I think one player has been disqualified for fair play violations. I have just been updated with this, and that means Khattar Saab has won the game. And Shri, I think Khattar Saab, I apologize. And I think Shri, we are two each now. Khattar
We
Saab
are
goes
two
through.
each. And wow, Sahil, I totally didn't see that coming at all. That was totally out of the
Yeah,
blue. I
we
was
are
so
two. And
excited at one moment
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
mate in one on the board, and the next moment the queen is disqualified for a fair play violation. I just totally didn't see it coming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that means we have all the semis. And Chad, that's again evidence, you cannot get away with it. And MPL doing a great job catching any sort of violators there. And now we will have the semis. But before the semis, I think it's time for a fun segment, Sri. Are you up for it? Oh, first of all,
Oh
we have the
yeah,
fixtures,
sure.
by the
Get me
way.
with it.
We have the fixtures. We have the fixtures. We have all the semi-finalists. Rocky versus Sandy Mick and Delt pair 117, 118. The guy with the numbers versus Khatkar Saab, Srinath. I mean, this looks like a fantastic semis lineup. And with lot at stake, people who win this go to the finals and get a confirmed spot.
Absolutely, Sahil. Get a confirmed spot in the MPL Indian Chess Tour. So everything rests on, I think, this semi-final, the top two. It's kind of like the semi-finals of the World Cup, for example. The top two get into the the candidates, and the top two is such an important thing that the semifinals kind of becomes a mini final.
Yep.
And
Yep.
who
Yep.
who
Indeed.
who are your favorites?
I will go with my choice. Yeah. I mean, I will go with the I'll go with the number guy because he has six digits in his username, and I think his calculation was just impeccable. So I'll go with him for sure. And you, Srinath?
I guess I'll stick with Rocky.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with that. He had a very convincing game. And with this, I can maybe we can go to a fun segment now. And Srinath, I'm going to ask you a few questions. They might be tricky, so hopefully you're ready for it. Are you ready, Srinath?
I hope I am.
Okay, fine. So I'll ask you a few questions. Let's go for it. The first
Cool.
question you have to
Hit
answer
me.
basically with a chess player's name. I'll ask you a question who is most likely to do X or Y or whatever, and you have to come up with a chess player's name.
Cool. I also have some
Okay.
questions in mind, but I'll let you go first.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think I've you've gone first, so it's my time now. Let's go for it. So, who's the most likely chess player to break a law?
Divya Deshmukh.
Why do you think so?
But I can also bet that she won't get caught.
Yeah, yeah, my fault. Yeah, I should have phrased the question properly, but yeah, okay, you got away with that one. Okay, next one. Who is the most likely chess player to have a secret wedding?
Vidit. Anything secret, anything which is not revealed, Vidit is the first name that comes to my mind, and who knows, maybe he has already had one. I mean, I wouldn't be totally sure about it. I'm a pretty close
Vidit,
friend of him, but
Vidit, I think we need some reveals now. Maybe Samay can help with that. And who is the most likely player to be a meme?
uh, off the bat of my mind, Nihal, but Divya would think that it's me. She already every time she sees me, she sees a meme. So there are two answers there.
Nice. So, who is the most likely to stalk, other players on social media before a game, especially their opponents? Maybe like who would do that a lot? What do you think?
Anish, and not just before a game.
During the game. Yeah, Anish is well known for tweeting out stuff right between tournaments, and his tweets are hilarious for sure, for sure. And who would be the most likely to lie to get out of a party? You're in a fantabulous party going on. Who is most likely to lie just to get out of that party?
This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one, but maybe Sagar, because he has to go to work, so he lies to get out of the party and goes working, or maybe unless he's working in the party itself.
Yeah, also true, also true, also true. And one question which might be closer to home. Who do you think could be the next world chess champion?
This is a tough one. This is a tough one. But I guess I'll just go with Ali Reza, so as to
Okay,
not
okay.
pick any favorites from the Indian kids.
Nice, nice. Otherwise, the part about becoming a meme might become true later on from the other kids.
I know, I
Nice,
know.
nice,
I think that's kind of
nice.
bound to happen anyway, but nevertheless, I still have some time to postpone the answer for that question. Ali Reza is playing in the candidates now, so he's the closest with a shot.
Yeah.
And with that, it's my turn now, Sahil. Are you ready?
Okay. Okay. Let me get ready for it. Sit up straight. Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. So I'll start with something that's very close to my very close to cracking my humor, because this is my favorite meme. Who is the most likely chess player to give a check with a king?
I mean, if I said any other name, I think even the player himself would be disappointed. So I have to go with Vidit Gujarati. Vidit is the answer to most questions in Indian chess anyway. So Vidit Gujarati, I think anybody who's not seen that moment, I highly recommend checking it out. Vidit against Hikaru.
I know, thinking back, I think the most likely chess player to be a meme should have also been with it when I think back.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, okay, the next one.
Okay,
Who is the
okay.
most likely chess player to have not have a shower for a week?
For a week. Well, I assume somebody in some really cold country. I mean, Sweden maybe, um, maybe Norway, like some really, Nordic countries are very cold. But I can't. I don't know. Not to take a shower. Man, that's like a personal insult. So who do I name who doesn't get offended? I think that's the only only answer I need to think of.
It's a tricky question, It's something we can't
Yeah,
really reveal. I
yeah.
can
So
think of a few
I
names though.
yeah, I'll just put my name there because I feel this is like a personal insult, and I have gone for a week during my like maybe my colleges, so I will go with that most likely because even though calling myself a chess player here in the field of Vidit is very, very hypocritical, but I will go with myself here, not to target anybody.
Well played, Sahil. Well played, well played. I'll reward you with a serious question because
Okay.
of that. Who is the most likely chess player to be able to beat Vishwanathan Anand?
Whew, are we counting engines here? Because right now that is the only person who looks likely to beat Vishy Anand. But I would say Rapport because that just happened yesterday. But otherwise, the form Vishy sir is in, I think, yeah. I mean, Stockfish is trying to practice right now, or pulling all nighters, trying to improve tactics so that he can defeat Vishy, I guess.
Yeah, I know. It can be any player, but I think one answer we can rule out for this question is age. Clearly, age is not going to defeat
Yeah,
Vishy Anand. He's
yeah,
going to conquer it.
yeah,
What a
yeah,
legend! What an amazing player!
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow, what an amazing performance too. Who is the most likely chess player to trash talk before a tournament?
I mean, it's written on my face, right? I mean, you know it. It's in your mind. It's in chat. Can you answer that question for me quickly, please? You know it. You just know it. Let's go, chat. I think this one chat will answer for me. I'm pretty sure they'll get the correct answer. Anybody in the chat, let's go.
Right after you heard the word trash talk, you instantly and there the
Yeah.
chat
So
goes.
people saying AD and Anish. I think it's pretty accurate. The Anish was the name in my mind, but AD could totally do it as well. I think both would be great answers, but Anish
Oh,
was the first name that came.
actually, I was going for AD. I was going for AD.
I was going for Anish. Wow. So I think it's a tie. I think we have to go with both. It's very hard to pick one. Both are serious trash talkers. I think they can lower their opponent's confidence like by 50% just by trash talking.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to specialization, like Anish is more of an all-rounder on social media, but when it comes to specializing in trash talks, we have only
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
person, not just in India but
Hmm,
across the world, I think,
hmm. Yeah,
and
specializing in the
that's
masters. Yeah,
AD.
for
He
sure,
takes
for
the
sure,
cake.
for sure, for sure, for sure. Somebody said Erigesi Arjun. I don't think so. Arjun is so. I mean, he's so down. I mean, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Anyways,
Yeah, I also don't think so. At least not on camera. He does
yeah,
come up with a bit of trash talk on his own, but in most cases he doesn't even intend it.
yeah,
He
yeah,
just says
yeah.
out something honest by mistake, and it becomes a trash talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
true,
the
true, true.
closest he can come to trash talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So, which chess player is most likely to be able to break a world record in chess?
Okay, so world record. So I guess, I mean, it has to be Magnus Carlsen. I mean, most number of wins. I mean, most number of, I mean, everything in chess. Most likely someday, he will have the title. So I would have to say Magnus Carlsen, because so there are some records which are meant to be broken, and likely, in all likelihood, I think Carlsen will end up breaking them. So I would have to go with Magnus Carlsen there.
That's like answering Sachin Tendulkar in cricket. Yeah, it's a pretty safe answer.
Yeah, very safe answer, very safe bet. So very, very politically correct answers by me there. Um, and I think with that we can move on to the semifinals, and we can have the fixtures on screen. Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. These are the fixtures for you for the semis. Very interesting matches coming up very soon. Srinath, it's going to be a cracker. Yeah, it's going to be crack of semi-final, I think.
Sorry.
It's going to be a cracker of a semi-final, I feel somehow.
Oh yes, Sahil, absolutely. It's going to be a cracker of a semi-final. I do think Rocky is a bit of favorite in his match against Sandemic, and between Del Par and Katkar Saab, I think it's a bit of even Stevens, because Rocky, I saw he was able to play a very convincing game at the beginning, and Sandemic, on the other hand, he was on the back foot. Although maybe you can also argue that he wasn't really allowed to show what he's capable of. And in the other semi-final, on the other hand, I think it's a bit more even Stevens because both of them played a good game, from what I could see.
Indeed, indeed,
What are your thoughts,
indeed.
Sahil?
Indeed. You stole my thoughts literally, I will have to say. And we'll have the semi-finals right here after a very short break. Chat, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
MPL Esports डेली सीरीज वीकेंड समिट के विनर यहाँ पर
What a match.
प्राइस पूल अपने लिए लेकर
ये ई स्पोर्ट्स होता क्या है? आप भी यही सोच रहे हो ना? ई स्पोर्ट्स मतलब इलेक्ट्रॉनिक स्पोर्ट्स, यानी वो स्पोर्ट्स या गेम जिसे ऑनलाइन खेल सकते हैं घर बैठे। जैसे क्रिकेट, हॉकी और फुटबॉल में वर्ल्ड कप और टूर्नामेंट्स होते हैं, वैसे ही ऑनलाइन गेम जैसे पूल चैंप्स, WCC और स्पीड चेस में भी ऑनलाइन टूर्नामेंट्स होते हैं। इन गेम्स में कोई भी पार्टिसिपेट कर सकता है। बाकी स्पोर्ट्स की तरह ई स्पोर्ट्स में भी हर प्लेयर को स्किल्स, प्रैक्टिस और स्ट्रेटजी की जरूरत होती है। टूर्नामेंट्स जीतने पर प्लेयर्स प्राइज मनी के साथ साथ फेम भी पा सकते हैं। अगर आप भी ऑनलाइन गेम्स में कम्पीट करके कैश प्राइजेस और फेम जीतना चाहते हैं तो MPL Pro ऐप को डाउनलोड करें और रोज नए टूर्नामेंट्स में फ्री में पार्टिसिपेट करिए। तो आज ही खेलिए, जीतिए और चैंपियन बनिए। ये ई स्पोर्ट्स लाइव स्ट्रीम क्या होता है? जैसे क्रिकेट और बाकी स्पोर्ट्स लाइव टेलीकास्ट होते हैं, वैसे ही ई स्पोर्ट्स के टूर्नामेंट्स MPL Pro ऐप पर लाइव ब्रॉडकास्ट किए जाते हैं, जिसमें प्लेयर्स को अपनी स्किल्स हजारों लोगों के सामने दिखाने का मौका मिलता है। व्यूअर्स भी लाइव स्ट्रीम देखकर प्रो प्लेयर्स की स्ट्रेटजी सीख सकते हैं। ई स्पोर्ट्स लाइव स्ट्रीम MPL Pro ऐप के स्ट्रीम सेक्शन पर दिखाई जाती है। तो आज ही MPL Pro ऐप डाउनलोड कीजिए और सारा ई स्पोर्ट्स सेक्शन देखिए। MPL ई स्पोर्ट्स के नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट में पार्टिसिपेट करना मतलब अपनी स्किल्स दिखाकर ढेर सारा प्राइज मनी जीतने और चैंपियन बनने।
Hey Srinath, we are back. Welcome back. Can you hear me, Srinath? Can you hear the enthusiasm
Yes,
in my
Sahil,
voice?
all good. I can hear you, and I'm all set and excited for the semi-finals.
Yeah, maybe we can have a brief look at the fixtures once more just to see the match coming up. And it's going to be a cracker of a match between Rocky and Sandeep. We saw Rocky playing a crushing game, but we also saw Sandeep, winning by, the fair play violation. So maybe Rocky could be the slight favorite in this matchup.
Yes, I completely concur with you there, Sahil. And I think in the first semi-final, Rocky is a bit of a favorite. And in the second one between Del Par and Katkar Saab, if I remember, Del Par was able to win in a convincing way. Whereas Katkar Saab, it was a pretty topsy-turvy game. So maybe Del Par is also a bit of a favorite in the other semi-final. I think these are my forecasts. What are your thoughts, Sahil?
Yeah, I will have to go with that as well. And maybe we will see our favorite players battle in the finals, Rocky versus Deltware. But for now, I think this is all is up for grabs. And one game cannot really sometimes, especially when I play after a while, I can sometimes lose my queen 20 times in a single game. So we have to, of course, be very careful with our assumptions. Anybody could win. And chess is a very tough game, and sometimes you're not in your top form. And I think two players did not really get a chance also to display their true strengths so far. So we will see that in this semi-final right now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And once again, to remind the chat, they are playing for a spot in the MPL Indian Chess Tour, the second leg of the Indian Chess Tour, which is on June 2 to 5. And the top two will get a chance to play against the best of the Indian players, the best, the absolute best. And that's, I think, a massive, massive thing, an opportunity to play with them. And they went through a stringent qualification, a very tough qualification competition consisting of 20,000 players to get all the way up to here.
20,000. I mean, that is, I mean, imagine the odds they have beaten to be here. And that promises us that the semi-final will be very, very crazy. So I think we can go to the game very soon, starting, semi-finals. And, this is it. The guy who wins gets the spot. The final step, as you said, it's the World Cup. You can technically, win the tournament still. Of course, you want the Anijgiri chessboard at all costs, but I feel if you get this, yeah, at least you go home very happy, smiling.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And there we go, the first semi-final. Aditya from the chat is asking, who are these players playing? Are they normal just like us? Yes, Aditya, they are normal just like us, except that they played in the MPL qualifiers tournament, and they have won their way through till all the way till the semi-final. And there will be, you could have your chance too in the future events.
Indeed, do download the app. You also have a chance to win some cash back here. So, I would say Sone Pe Suhaga anyways. And now we'll go to the semi-final match, Rocky versus Sandeep. And Rocky is the guy who basically, showed that, he is a player who is a potential, champion of this tournament. But he will be playing Sandeep, who did not get a full opportunity to display his strength. And yeah, Srinath, I think I know your choice already as the favorite, but it's time for the game, I think.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited to go into the game. It's totally time for the game. And even I think yesterday, Arjun was asking who his potential competitors are for the Indian chess leg tour second leg. So a lot of people are excited and looking forward to who are going to be in the top two. And Chad, what are your predictions? Who do you think is going to win the semi-finals? What are your thoughts? Who are you rooting to see in the finals?
And yeah, I mean, just think about it. Yeah, Arjun is someday playing Magnus Carlsen, and the next day, his only worry of the day is who is qualifying from the MPL, who I have to prepare for, who is this mystery guy coming up. And yeah, I mean, that's the stakes you play for when you download the MPL app. So do check it out. And
Absolutely,
yeah, Chad,
absolutely.
you can predict who do you think will win this game? Rocky is the guy who, it's in the name. You know what?
I just lost you for a second there, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, sometimes
it's in
it
the
is in the
name. It's
name.
in the
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's in the name, as with Rocky. Sometimes it's not in the name, as with Satyajit. Life is full of contradictions like that. And there we
Yeah.
have it. The game has
Yeah.
begun. What a scary avatar of pandemic there.
Yeah.
Super
Dheeraj is
scary.
not messing
And
around.
E4. I like the first move though. I like E4 there.
Yeah. And now, knight c3, knight c6. Interesting. Not going for knight f3.
Yeah, the Vienna system, the knight c3. Usually, white plays the knight to c3 to retain the option of playing f4, a kind of delayed king's gambit. Give up the f4 pawn to try and build a powering center with d4 and try and go early against the black's king. But with knight f3, the game has become more mainstream. It's a bit of this four knights variation, which is also very popularly seen in the formative level. And Bishop e2 looks really strange to me. I really don't think you go with the bishop to b5 and
Ah.
then move back to e2.
And by the way,
So
Rocky has changed his username. Very interesting detail there. He took the time to change his username there. So yeah, that might change my prediction. I have to admit, it's no longer Rocky. It's no longer Rocky. I mean, I can't see Rocky there. But yeah, so far I think both players playing a very solid game. Yeah, it could have, yeah, there are still a couple of, I think, minute mistakes, but overall both players playing in the center. But as soon as I said it, it's a very interesting situation here because white can possibly just take on e5 now. queen takes. Interesting.
Yeah, he takes with the queen, and although it looks all symmetrical, it looks like black is a bit better developed here.
Hmm.
White went with bishop b5, bishop e2 early in the opening. Then the knight went to c3. It went back to b1. He kept moving these pieces back and forth. And now into d4, bishop f3, potentially queen d6. Uh, Queen drops back all the way to d8. But now black is already a pawn up. And even if white captures this pawn back, even if black cannot take bishop into d4 right away, I think black is clearly in the lead because he has a bit more of time. He's so much more well developed.
Yep, indeed. And white tries to save the pawn in the only way he can by playing d5. But black goes for the attack. Queen to h4, attacking f2. And
Yeah,
yeah,
this looks super scary for white. And he goes with bishop e3, protecting the f2 pawn. But now the e3 pawn becomes a weakness. So f into e3, queen
mm,
g5 perhaps, just c into d5, and drops the queen to h6.
yep. Bishop e3 is a threat here. Maybe white could even just take on c6 and just allow bishop e3 and then go king h1. But then the bishop can drop back to f4 and then there can be a mate threat on h2, which will also be very deadly. White just plays queen d3, defending the e3 pawn. Black attacks it once more. That's why development is important. If the white rook had been on developed somehow, it could have some counterplay. But now the e3 pawn is lost, and white just plays d6, bishop to f5. Wow. What is bishop to f5? That is a crazy move.
Yeah, and it was played so fast and it looks so strong. He wants to play rook into e3, but he wants to be able to take with the queen, rook into e3, rook into e3, queen into e3, and try and checkmate the white's king. So he goes bishop f5, distracting the queen from e3. What a strong move! Wow,
Wow.
that was
And yeah, and it's all about, if white's pieces were developed, this would not be a big deal. But because white has many issues, the knight is on b1, the rook is on a1, the rooks are not, rook on e1 is hanging. There are many issues for white here. And it could be anybody's game now. And look at the time. Look at the time situation. Yeah, Dheeraj Kumar, yeah, or aka Rocky, ahead on the clock as well.
yeah. I think bishop f5 came out of the blue to Sandemic as well, and he totally didn't see it coming. And queen b3, rook into e3 played, rook into e3, bishop into e3, and as you said earlier, that bishop comes to f4 potentially. And look at the state of white's pieces: the knight on b1, the rook on a1, totally undeveloped.
Yeah, this looks very dangerous. And after maybe king to h1, bishop f4, g3 is, well, not really a clear solution because the pawn is anyway pinned. Yeah, he plays bishop f4. He plays it.
Yeah, he plays bishop f4, the rook. No, actually, there are ideas with bishop into h3. Huh? I think black is just going
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
checkmate. He's going for the
yeah.
juggler.
Hmm. Yeah, now just sacrificing on h3, and then if white captures back, queen takes check. Yep, I mean king g1, and then yeah, the one check will be the last now, I feel.
Yeah, two more checks. Yeah, two more checks. Black to play
Yeah,
mate
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Chat, can you find it? Can you find it before black makes the move?
Yeah, chat, can you find it? Let's go.
What do these guys have against checkmates? I don't understand. They just don't want to checkmate. And now queen j3 and queen g1 is a threat. Rook 8 is a pretty strong move, but why would you not checkmate when you have it in front of you?
True, true,
Oh,
true.
is it because the queen on b3 was covering it?
Yeah, maybe, and
I think
yeah,
I think
maybe
I think I
because
think
e3
I
for
think we
now.
just missed that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
think
yeah.
I think I just missed the queen on b3. Yeah, bishop e3 was not really working, so it wasn't really a checkmate. My bad.
Yeah, even I
No,
thought.
black has played
Even I thought.
flawlessly here.
Even I thought for a second, and I realized it wasn't mate. But now it's mate. But now it's mate, and it's over. It's over.
Yeah, now it's mate.
Yeah, queen g1, and that should be game over. So Rocky, aka Dheeraj Kumar, taking the game, and that means he has earned a spot in the second leg of the MPL India Chess Tour. Great achievement by Rocky, and I think he'll put top talent in the country to test in that tournament.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rocky, what a strong performance and how fast. It's incredible play by him so far. Very, very high level of chess, and he's uh, he's also backed it up with speed.
Indeed, indeed. And I think this was the first semi-final. So one spot has already gone to Rocky for the next leg of the MPL India Chess Tour. One spot remains. Who will be that person? I think it's time to look at the fixtures of the second semi-final. All is up for grabs. The tensions are high. Let's see who managed to win. Srinath, I think it's a very important match, this one.
Oh yes, Sahil, absolutely. And it's very important and also something where we are not so sure who the favorite is. So it's going to be a tense encounter. It's going to be close. I guess it's not going to be one-sided, although I can be wrong, but I'm hoping that it won't be a one-sided encounter. And let's see. Let's see.
Yeah. And Chad, by the way, you can be one of these guys in the future as well. Do download the MPL app. You have a cashback going on right now. Use this code on the screen, download the app. You'll get the cashback in your MPL wallet and use it to play some amazing games, including the game of chess. And maybe next time we'll see you here playing here. Who knows? And with that, I think it's time to move to the semifinals, the second semifinals. And well, I am really excited for this game because this is the last spot for the second leg of the MPL India Chess Tour.
Yes, the last part of this tournament, and I'm really excited. SNA Ame Kanitkar is asking, is there anti-cheating measures which are being taken? Yes, there are some anti-cheating measures, which is how two of the players who are participating here already got disqualified due to the fair play regulations, and I guess that's just the top of the cream,
Yep, yep,
There will be
and
constant checks.
yep. And these are the players you can see dealt pair 117, 118 versus Khatkar Saab in the second semi-final. I think it's time to go to the game very soon. And Srinath, do I know your favorite player here, or have you changed up your mind somehow?
Well, you took Del pair, so
Yeah,
I have to go with Karkas up E3 and B6. E3 and
very
B6.
interesting.
Wow. What
Very
opening.
interesting. Yep.
Magnus Carlsen did a lot of this B3, B6 kind of
Yeah.
thing, and I can see that
Yep.
they are getting the inspiration from somewhere quite high. Now White has changed it into a normal opening, E3, D4, and I don't like how Black has played this D5 and Bishop B7. The Bishop kind of tends to get passive and stuck here, but on the other hand, White has also put his pawn on E3 and the Bishop on C1. So I guess that they kind of cancel each other out there.
Hmm. And now the bishop will drop back to, I think, b3 at some moment. I think Black should do the king side pieces. He does, plays knight f6 and prepare castling as soon as possible.
Yeah, and for white, it's a bit of a weird placement, putting this bishop on e4, and I think the development has been pretty unorthodox from both the sides. The pawn structure looks nice for white c3, d4, e3, but I'm curious how he's going to get this bishop on c1 out. He has to probably break with e4 at some point, and black will break with c5 to liberate his own bishop on b7 and get in into the game. So kind of standard pawn structure now, but a very unorthodox way to get into this position. And now white has to either break with e4 with queen e2 is a good start. Although I really don't feel comfortable with this bishop on e4, Sahil. It feels so outlandish. What do you think?
Yep, it needs to be transferred, I guess, to c2 or some other square. But he goes e4, and with black's king still in the center, maybe it's not such a bad deal. But at some point, black will play c5, and the queen on e4 might be hit as well.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very typical motive. Although here you want to be careful with your king still stuck in the
Hmm.
center. You play c5, it opens up this bishop on a4 and kind of gives some justification for the bishop. So black goes with the bishop to
Srinath, do you think he'll
d6.
play bishop c2? Do you think he'll play bishop c2 and wait on h7? He plays knight of 6, knight of 6. Clever, clever, clever.
He saw it coming. Black saw it
Yeah, he
coming.
saw it coming. Sign of a
Knight
gate there, I
f6.
might add. Yeah,
We
and
need to
castles
short
finally.
castle and c5 suggests itself now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, rook d8 also looks decent.
Now we have a standard position on the board, and I think black is doing totally fine. No complaints. The pawn coming to c5, the bishop's active, the pieces are developed. f7 and e6 are well protected. a5 feels a bit unusual in this position. I think because when you play c5 now, it's a lot more weakening. But on the other hand, doesn't really spoil black's position.
b5. When
b5 on
Trisha
the other
gonna
hand is
do this?
quite difficult.
Yeah. And now c5 becomes very difficult. That is the problem with all of this setup, that your bishop on b7, it's somehow blocked by its own pawn, and you want to play c5 liberated, but then your pawn on b5 is hanging and it's very difficult to defend. So yeah, now you can't liberate that bishop, and your bishop is somehow going to be there for a long period of time.
Yes, the bishop is stuck. Although white has also not shown a very convincing plan so far. And the knight goes to d5. Queen e4.
Queen
Black can
e4,
always
let's
go back
go. Let's go. Queen e4. We need Queen e4 right now. We need some sharp play. Enough of the pawn moves. Let's go, Queen. Rook
Oh
b1.
my
Okay, he plays it
god.
safe. He plays it safe.
Sahil, he did the
He plays it
exact opposite of
extremely,
what you're asking for.
extremely safe.
He
Ah,
couldn't,
did he?
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
b2 was not even threatened. Yeah, I mean, what was the rook doing
Yeah.
on b1?
And now it's walked itself into some sort of knight c3 tactics once the b pawn moves.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
queen
black is
takes.
taking over this one. White's play
Yeah.
has been strategically non-existent, to be honest. Not just bad strategic play, but there has just been the absence of strategy. And his pieces are all over the place. This knight on g6, uncoordinated. Also, I think black should have taken a into b2 first, weakened the
Yep.
c3 pawn, and
Yep.
then did knight e7. He starts with knight e7. So this game we are seeing a pretty standard game of chess, I would say. Human beings
Yep.
making moves here and there.
Yeah, it's very close, right? I mean, this is, I think, the closest game so far. And finally, he manages to play c5. It's finally done. And knight e5. Okay, knight c6. Yeah, if knight c6, queen c6, mate on g2, who knows? White might miss it. Yeah, he will. He takes with the queen. It's time. It's time. Will he find the defense? Oh, he defends it. Very clever.
g4.
Takes h6 now. Wow. Queen takes h6. Oh,
Queen g6 check. Now white has a draw.
Yeah, at least a draw, and we don't know. I mean, what will he try for more?
He could. It's his choice. He could try for more with something like rook d3.
Yep,
No
that would be a
reason
fair.
not to.
Rook d2 he plays. Okay.
This is thrilling, Sahil.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of thrilling you see in a champion chess tour, but it has its own thrill.
You might see it there as well soon, very soon. Rook takes b2 and now c takes d4. Black is opening up the position while white has a draw in hand, but he's not taking it just yet.
Yeah. But now he's
Now
lost
it's
the
gone.
draw in hand.
Now there is no draw. You better have a continuation in mind.
But it's still. Oh, he goes for queen h7. I thought this was a risky move to make because queen into h7, king into h7, rook into b5, and white will just be a pawn up in the endgame.
Yep. I think what he's hoping for is some sort of gf3, bishop f3, rook g8, maybe some attack. Yep, some chances there, but white plays bishop b3, trying to exchange that bishop in a very clever move.
Yeah, bishop b3, and it's totally safe for white, but black has been. Oh, there's also a possibility of mate now if f into g2 had been played.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
white is taking over here.
yeah.
Although
Two pawns
black
up
was the
now,
one
and
who was
yeah,
always making things happen in this game, it's actually white who's taking over now.
yeah. Khatkars are proving. Yeah, I mean, defeating the dealt pair 117, 118. I mean, I've been dealt a very severe blow on my chances of my favorite winning. But do you think that dealt pair could come up with any sort of drawing formation, like doubling up the rooks on the a file with rook 8, what he does, capturing a2, and then trying to draw that rook end game somehow?
It's possible. There are still defensive chances. It's not so easy to move forward with this one. White has to start playing with the king. He does that, and at some point, White may need to sacrifice one of his pawns, the d4 pawn, and start advancing the
Hmm.
a pawn, the a passer. So something like rook a2 at some point should be his intention. Get the king to e3, rook to a2, and then start trying to dislodge this rook from a4. He goes with the king to f1 though, and I think that's a super
I
straight
think
move.
rook 8,
Go to
I think rook
e3.
8 they would have won the pawn, right? Most likely. Rook 8 there after king f1. He plays it now, but now the king can support the d4 pawn, and earlier that was
Yeah,
not the
yeah, yeah.
option. Now you come to d8 and king e3 saves the pawn, and white is 2 pawns up, stable 2 pawns up now.
Yeah, you're right. Rook 8 there would have won the pawn. And now rook 8, rook a2, rook d8, king to e3, I
e3.
guess.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And by the way, time is also going to play a deal here, because white has 47 seconds, black has 1 minute and 50 seconds. And yeah, with the increment being 2 seconds, it is enough to continue the game. But how will they handle the pressure is important. If white goes wrong, loses 1 pawn, suddenly has 5 seconds on the clock, you never know, it could twist either way.
Absolutely. It's not at all easy to convert these types of positions if you don't know the winning plan, and people usually tend to panic. It's totally understandable when you don't know what's the way, and when you don't have a lot of time, that's when panic hits you. And when you're in a state of panic, you start making all kinds of mistakes. King to f6 after a long thought by Delpar, and white comes with his king to e3. Although the king should have probably gone to the king should eventually go to b3, I think. Honestly, I'm not totally convinced that white is showing the technique to win here, Sahil. But
Indeed.
if it's a draw and if he has more material, I think he still goes through. So,
Hmm.
if there's a repetition here, if there's a draw, then white goes through the final because he has more material.
Material.
And
And it has been a draw, threefold repetition. I think black might have missed the fact that white goes through in case of a draw, and that means Khatkar Saab goes through, right? I mean, that's insane. I mean, I think black should have played on. Oh, dealt pair.
yes.
I think maybe I
Oh,
dealt pair went
Delpar.
through. Maybe I that might have been a crazy deal, because I thought
Yeah,
white had the
yeah,
more material on the board. That is crazy.
indeed, indeed. But I guess
Yeah,
black goes through.
yeah. Regardless, I think we have. Yeah, regardless, it is well. Yeah, regardless, I mean, this is like, I mean, two players, we have two spots final. We know two people going into the final. We know two people have qualified for the MPL India Chess Tour leg 2. And well, Eriger Surgeon, beware, they are coming.
I know, and it's Rocky and Delpar, the people we identified at the very beginning, Sahil.
Yeah,
Rocky was my
yeah, yeah,
favorite, Delpar was yours. And once
yeah,
again,
yeah.
questions in the chat on how to play in this tournament. You can also play by downloading the MPL app from the link in the description and in the pinned chat as well. You can download it using the link in the pinned chat and have your chances the next time we have such an event.
Indeed, indeed. And you have a chance to win some cashback as well. So that's, one more plus point. And well, I mean, I mean, imagine these players playing the MPL Indian Chess Tour Leg 2. Just imagine playing against the top players of the country. I mean, it is a great experience, right? I mean, it's going to be amazing beating those odds of 20,000 people, reaching the finals. I mean, that's an incredible feeling, right?
Absolutely. That's an incredible feeling. And I mean, winning anything is a great feeling by itself. But winning such a big prize and overcoming such a strong competition, it makes it all the more sweeter. It makes it so much more rewarding.
Yep, yep. And Srinath, you asked me a few questions and I was politically correct, but I know you will not be politically correct. So I'll ask you a few more questions if you allow me. And hopefully we'll roast some of your students at least tonight. That's my target for today. You roasting, and I want to create a
You're
ruckus
setting
inside
me
the
up for
entire Srinath
revenge.
camp. Yeah, exactly. So let's go for it. And I'll ask you a few questions. So let's say you had a chance to play a game of chess. Um, would you love to play against Kasparov, or would you love to play against Deep Blue? Because Deep Blue was the first breakthrough which showed humans, yeah, we don't know how to play chess. So who would you like to play if you had the chance?
Caspro, I think Caspro. It's not so much fun playing against computers, and it would be such an amazing feeling playing against Caspro, and all the more so that now that he's a bit more older and not as much as terrifying as he
Right.
used to be back in the day. So at least I feel like I'll have some chances this time.
Yeah, true. Okay, so second question. When I learned chess when I was a beginner, I had this book where they will show the queen versus 8 pawns, and how if one side has 8 pawns, how the queen can mop up all those pawns very quickly, and the 8 pawns are no match. What if you had 8 pawns or one rook? Which one would you prefer in a game of chess from the starting position? Let's say.
Oh, this one's interesting. This one's interesting from the starting position.
Yeah.
There's this variant called Hood, which is very similar. I think I'll take the the pawns because although the rook might mop up a few pawns, I think the pawns will be able to advance and try and maintain equilibrium. Although, in these types of variants, if the rook manages to get to the 8th rank or the 7th rank, it cleans up everything. It's game over.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so recently, I think Hikaru. You've seen how much he's achieved in streaming, and then all this stuff, and he has also won the Grand Prix. Then you have Carlsen, who's the world champion. Hikaru could possibly reach the world championship as well. Play Magnus. If you had a chance, to win against one of those guys, Carlsen or Hikaru, which win would mean more to you?
I think Magnus, because I have already beaten Hikaru a few times. So,
Okay,
I
subtle,
think the
subtle,
win
subtle
against
flex.
Magnus would be. I think Hikaru kind of gives more chances in general. Magnus, I think he's just a bit stronger.
Hmm. And of course, then there's a tweet incoming as well very soon after we defeat Magnus. That's also a possibility. So that always gives me more extra motivation. Someday I'll get to defeat Magnus, maybe in a parallel universe, and then somebody will tweet about me. That's also possible. Anyways, next question. Bring out a knight or a bishop instead of castling. So if you have a choice of delaying castling, which pieces would you go for? Like first, I would say.
I guess it depends a lot on the position, but if I had to answer it in a totally generic context, I guess I'd go for Castle. Just be safe.
Okay. And one tricky question. Hopefully, you will not lose a friend over this. But if you had a chance to commentate with Anish or Tanya, who would you choose for? Chat, we got him.
Okay,
We got him.
okay.
Okay.
I guess it kind of depends. I would choose Anish if I had a bad throat and I couldn't talk during the commentary, because I would anyway not get a chance to talk with him being in the stream. And if everything was okay, then Tanya.
Okay. Very, very, keeping it very calm. If this, then him. If this, then him. Very, very politically correct. Nice. So next question. Play King's Pawn Defense or the Sicilian. Which one would you prefer?
Sicilian.
Sicilian is always, yeah, I mean, best. So 4 pawns or one knight?
4 pawns. Actually, the
Yeah, I
pawns
think.
I think
But
here are stronger than the knight.
uh, uh, and final question for you, Shri: have a bishop or knight in the endgame?
Bishop.
Bishop, yeah, as we
This is a
saw in
very, very,
some great
very,
games today.
very
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
indeed, indeed.
But this is a very interesting question. Yeah, I think chat should also answer it. Have a bishop or knight in endgame.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it will be the finals coming up soon, and chat can also answer. Who they think, who they think will be the better piece, bishop or knight. And chat, by the way, you can also download the app. The link is pinned right now. Imagine you could have a chance to play this event next time. I mean, what better opportunity can one hope for? I mean, yeah, so do download the app and you have a chance for cashback. Use the coupon code on the screen to get some cashback as well, and you will get a chance to play some amazing games on the MPL platform. And with that,
Absolutely.
I think we should have the final fixtures with us. Two very crazy players who have shown us, how strong they are. Both of them with a confirmed spot in the MPL Indian Chess Tour coming up, very soon. And more important, now more importantly, Anish Giri's signed chessboard.
Absolutely. So a lot at stake. I mean, we know that these two guys are probably going to be in the Indian Chess Tour, unless some miracle happens, and we know what miracle means in the stream already today. But unless some miracle happens, they're probably going to be in the Indian Chess Tour. But there's still the fight for signed chessboard by Anish,
Mhm.
and that's a lot to play for.
And by the way, just to
Apart from the
clarify the
championship,
tiebreak,
of course.
yeah, the tiebreak criteria, every piece that you take, I mean, there is a score logged in the back end, and the user with the maximum number of points wins. So the data is being collected at the back end, and that's how Del pair qualified. And this is the finals. Anish Giri Sanchez were up for grabs. Both players, already a bit satisfied, I think, that they have gone through to the finals. But Rocky versus Del pair, Srinath, I think we saw this coming. Who are you supporting now?
I think the kind of chess Rocky has shown, he would be a favorite against any player. So I think he's a clear favorite, and I really don't see a chance for Delper.
Yeah, and the game has begun. I will support Delpair for now because apparently he has a good tiebreak score. And Rocky, although Rocky Bhai is crushing it. So let's see. The game has begun. E4 from Delpair.
A long thing from Rocky Bhai. Interesting changes of name there. Rocky, and then there's some Dheeraj something, and now
Yeah,
back to Rocky, and he responds with E4, E5, the standard opening.
yeah, yeah. We might as well be seeing a MPL India Chess Tour game, by the way, Srinath here. Right? I mean, this is going to happen again, most likely. A knight f3 played, and now knight f6, the Petrov. Very interesting choice by Black.
Yeah, keeping it solid, keeping it safe. Maybe Rocky has a better tiebreak score, and maybe uh, he doesn't mind a draw. D3 is a very passive move by White, though, but it's also not unusual against the Petrov, especially when you're not prepared. And D6 by Black is, I think, unusual here. Kind of mirroring White's
Yeah,
play, but
yeah, mirroring knight c6 now, I think, and but how far can this mirroring go? Not too long.
Knight to
Wow.
A6.
Okay, very
Wow.
interesting choice. Very interesting choice.
It's Knight to A6 is super strange. I mean, so different from how he's played in the last two games.
And chat, just think about this. These two guys are playing in the Imperial Chess Tour with a prize pot of $100,000. I mean, that's a great opportunity for anyone to download the app and check it out. And h6 by Black here, he's trying to unpin his knight. The bishop usually drops back to h4, but White here takes on f6. The queen will come to f6. I expect knight d5 to come. Oh, he takes the pawn. Wow, that's a very interesting decision by Rocky Bhai.
Yeah, and not something you'd recommend to the chat, right? You don't want to weaken your pawn structure like that.
Yeah.
But now if black gets to play f5, then I think it's fine for black.
It's-
White had to play knight h4 and fix the pawn structure. But with knight c5, knight h4 and bishop g4 would be very strong. Fix that pawn structure, fix all the pawns on the dark squares, make the f8 bishop bad. But I guess that's too advanced strategically.
Yeah, yeah. And a3 by white. Now, a3 is a very interesting choice because I think it was maybe preparing b4 to kick away the knight, and black preempts that with knight d7. But the knight on d7, maybe e6 felt. I mean, it's blocking the bishop's path to f5. So I'm not sure about knight d7 here.
Yeah, it feels terrible, knight a6, knight c5, knight d7. It's almost like black is playing deliberately bad or something, and it's so contradictory from his last two games, which felt like near perfect play, and here it's the absolute opposite of it. He puts his knight on e6, knight on c5, knight on d7. I think it's inferior level of play even for what we are seeing today.
But to be
And
honest,
finally,
I
he
think
goes with
both of these.
f5.
Yeah, finally. But I think both of these guys are winners. I think what has happened here is they are quite satisfied with what they achieved, and now they're a bit relaxed. They know they have beaten 20,000 people to be here, and I think that has made them a bit relaxed. I think they're kind of happy. I think somebody might be eating cake on the side while playing a game. Who knows? Because yeah, they qualified for the event. That's crazy.
True. And it's not a bad idea to eat something during the game, even if you're not qualified.
Yeah,
It helps with the.
true. And now the h5 pawn is attacked. I wonder if black will save it or not, because black always has these queen h4 ideas. So if bishop h5, queen h4 can be sometimes strong. And let's see if white takes it. He plays d4. Interesting move there.
Yeah, I think it was probably better for white to keep the H file closed. But on the other hand, it looks like black has gained some advantage here. Yeah, the center is closed. The pieces are coming out. The queen to f6 and potentially the pawn h4, h3. With the center closed, I think it certainly favors black here. And white is also kind of struggling to find a plan. Yeah. Oh, king
I
to
think
d8.
though white achieved what he wanted with this check, right? What he wanted was the king to move either with bishop d7 or with like king d8. I think he achieved what he wanted with that check. And now queen comes to
But he
f3.
didn't
But
have to do it. Yeah.
bishop g4.
Black.
I mean, he takes on d4. Okay, makes sense. This is looking
Pawns
really
to h4,
complicated.
h3, rook to g8, queen to g5.
Okay, bishop goes back all the way to f. At least defends g2. That is the plus point there, because now rook g8 is not as deadly. But then, c6 played. I think the king is going to c7 most likely.
I don't know, Sahil. I can't predict black's moves at all in this game. Knight a6, knight
Somebody's
c5,
asking the
knight
chat.
d7, king d8.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's asking the chat, why didn't you take the h pawn earlier? Because there were queen h4 ideas. And if you move the bishop, then queen h2 could have been mate. So it was not. And anyways, as general, if your king is on one side of the board, usually capturing your opponent's pawns on that side of the board is not always in your favor, because that opens up files towards your king. I mean, we might win 5 pawns. I know the tiebreak, capturing points is important, but it's only in case of a draw, not if you lose. So I think winning is the first priority regardless.
Yeah, and also the captured pieces is not just for this one game. Yeah, it's for the entire tournament, I imagine.
Yeah.
So if you take it for just one game, then Delta wouldn't have been in the final.
True, indeed. And now rook g8. Now that's one move I like. The king goes to c7, rook to g8, maybe bishop g4 or some other move incoming. And time situation looks very interesting. Rocky Bhai has 1 minute 26 seconds. This is going to be a tough match.
Yeah, they have played a lot slower in this game compared to the other games that they have played, both of them. And Rocky Boy in particular, I think he had something like 2 minutes or 3 minutes left with him when he had won the last two games. This one is going down to the wire. He's down to less than a minute. queen d1 on to c5. He defends everything, and I think black is now set to
Wow.
mate white.
Wow. H4 is so dangerous. I think Anish Giri is starting to write the first alphabet of the name of the black player here on the chessboard. Love you, Rocky Bhai. Congratulations on the win, because I think this looks really difficult because Bishop G4 is incoming. That would be a pin on the knight, and the H4 pawn would be, well, basically lost.
Yes, and also, black can just pile on his pieces on the g file. Bishop e7, rook g7, rook g8, and there's really little white can do to defend, because you cannot defend with limited space. You just don't have spaces for your pieces to occupy the defensive positions.
Rocky Bhai, you justified your name, man. And the H4 pawn is lost. If black wants to really take it, let's see. He takes with the queen,
Yeah, he takes it. He
sacrificing
takes
in
it.
exchange.
He sets up a mating net.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
take with the pawn.
And chat, I think it's very obvious, but what do you think black's next move is? If just imagine what could be black's next move. I think it's very obvious now. With h takes g4, what he wants. Okay, maybe you should not guess now because the queen is attacked, but yeah, the plan is very simple now. I think rook goes to the h file, and there'll be a deadly check coming up. I think maybe white can try bishop g2 ideas, but then f3 could seal up the game.
Yeah, so you have to take g into f4 here.
Yep.
You have to do it. And now after rook h8, bishop g2, white still retains some defensive possibilities. So
Queen trade.
queen g3,
Good
queen
try.
h6.
Good try. Good try. Yeah. Yeah. B4. I think there's not enough time for this. And white pieces are, yeah. Bishop g2 has to be played, I think.
What?
What?
Is that
What
a
was
slip?
bishop h3? Oh my god, bishop h3. Wow. I think that might have could have
Like
been
a
a
slip.
mouse slip as well. Yeah, it feels
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
slip.
yeah.
Bishop e2 felt more logical. But now, oh, black doesn't even take the bishop. Rocky Bhai, crushing it. Oh, it's over, chat.
Oh
It's over.
God.
It's over. Bishop takes g3. Anish Giri, please, thank you for. You can write the name now. It's over. F takes, queen takes, and that will be made very soon. I think Rocky Bhai is going to be the winner very soon. And huge congratulations to both these players to qualify for the MPL Indian Chess Tour Leg 2. And even more, celebrity days for, I would say, Rocky Bhai, because he also gets a signed chessboard by Anish Giri.
Yes, absolutely. And this has been a crushing finish. He kept the pressure on. He was clearly the stronger player. He kept the pressure on throughout the game. It was some very unusual play in the opening, but once
Yep.
things became a bit clarified, he just accelerated on and ended it. And it's
And
checkmate.
that is checkmate with the pawn. Rocky Bhai continued the trend. Checkmating with the pawn, and we have the winner of the qualifiers for this event. Rocky Bhai, what beautiful games. Checkmating two of his opponents with literally a pawn. Srinath, not many chess players in the world can claim of checkmating two out of three players with the pawn.
Absolutely, Sahil. He's been so much stronger in the field today that he could literally play with anything he wanted, any piece.
Yeah.
He could just checkmate with anything he wanted, and just toy around with the opponent, troll them, and do whatever he likes. So that
Yep.
you can do literally whatever you like when you have such a strength difference.
Yep, and a warning to everybody in the leg two of this tournament: beware of Rocky Bhai's pawns. Exchange them if you can, because yeah, he's coming for you with his pawns, and it will not be easy to handle. And Srinath, any words of motivation to the winners? I mean, after all, they're going to face a stiff challenge in the coming tournaments. What they can do to put up the maximum resistance, get some good games. Any advice from you?
Well, first of all, a big congratulations to the winners. An amazing performance, and to do it through such a difficult field, such a massive field of 20,000 players. A big congratulations to them. And as for the advice, I guess, just train hard, do your best, and Also note of the players who got disqualified earlier today. Two of them did get disqualified. So always stay fair, because even if someone is able to get away with it short term, sooner or later it's going to catch up on you. So I think just work hard and play fair.
Indeed, indeed. And I mean, it'll be so much fun to follow this event. It's starting from 2nd June. The second leg of this event, we'll see, you know, 8 players in the previous tournament and 8 new players, two of whom you basically see right now. And yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for this event. I think we saw some spectacular games in the first one. And chat, I think, and Srinath as well, this will be the stream for today. Srinath, any parting words? And I think we are all set for the second leg that starts very soon.
Once again, a massive congratulations to the winners, Sahil, and a big thank you to MPL, first of all, for making all this happen. And it's been an amazing journey, and great for chess. And this whole tournament, the MPL Indian Chess Tour, and the concept that anyone can get into it, anyone can start here and climb up all the way to the Champion Chess Tour. So a big thanks to MPL first of all, and a big thanks to the chat as well. It wouldn't be possible without you guys either. So thank you so much, chat, and thanks to you too, Sahil. It's been an absolute pleasure commentating with you. So
Yeah, thank you,
congratulations to the
Srinath, for being
winners.
here. I mean, we know how busy Srinath is with the Olympiad team. So, I mean, thank you for taking your time to be here, because your expert guidance will not only help this chat, but also these players to understand their games. They can check the stream later, see where they went wrong, and put up a tough fight against the players they'll be facing in the upcoming league.
I couldn't
And
have
yeah,
missed an opportunity to commentate with you, Sahil. Simply
thank you for
couldn't.
those words. Thank you for those words. Hopefully, I do not pick up a fight between your students, and hopefully, they will not roast you in the coming days. And that's
Good
the
thing
end
is
for
they
today,
don't watch
chat.
my streams, so I think I'm safe.
Okay, that's probably safe. That's probably safe. So with this chat, thank you for joining us. We'll see you in first week of June with the second leg. Take care, and well, it's going to be intense games coming up. See you soon.